Stephanie here from Oh You're Lovely, where we carry the largest selection of wood flowers in the United States. I'm surrounded by things right now. I'll explain in just a minute. Alright you guys, thank you so much for coming back for another tutorial right here at Oh You're Lovely. Today we're going to play around. Now we've tried this once before over on our Facebook group, but just put a flower on it. We have a group page. It's pretty dang active. We're getting up there. I think we have like 4,000 or 5,000, well no, I think we're right at the cusp of 4,000 people now. That's kind of cool. And one time someone asked of a trick, and I'll explain this in a second. Maybe I'm going a little too far ahead of myself. Maybe I'll just stop and say we're gonna work on a trick to try to help Sola wood flowers stop uncurling when you dip dye them. Apparently I'm gonna be super chatty during this tutorial, so brace yourself for that. I already talk fast, but you can like make it 2 times speed and make me sound like a chipmunk. It's all right. So what we're gonna do today is based off of a test we tried over in our group page, which I mentioned earlier. Someone asked about hairspray in particular. So I grabbed hairspray to try it out, but then I was like, you know what? If we're gonna make this an experiment, let's try a couple different things that might work. So we tried hairspray, we tried polyacrylic spray, and then we tried this Design Masters Super Surface Sealer, which is a quick drying, thin, flexible finish. And I thought, I wonder if this will work. And I can tell you, for the ones that we tried it on, it worked brilliantly. Like, it was the top. Hairspray came in second. Hairspray will work in a pinch. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I only tried it with one style flower. So I thought today, for YouTube, we'll do a whole plethora, look at me and all these words, a whole plethora of flowers. So for this tutorial, I do have a spray tent. You can spray this inside. It's not like spray paint where you should probably use it outdoors. It does set it to use in room temperature of 70 degrees, low humidity, well ventilated area. My studio is fairly well ventilated, but I'm also going to, for the overcast spray, have my spray tent over here, and then we'll remove it later so I don't feel so claustrophobic. And then for the flowers, we have a ton of the contenders that typically get a little sassy when we dip dye them. As soon as they get wet, they start to uncurl, blanch. Behave yourself. Blanch, Ruffled Dahlia, the Rosa, Tea Rose, and a couple others. So we're gonna try all of these. The original test was just with rosas and they did really well. But let's try a few others. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shake this up and we're gonna spray a whole bunch of these flowers, let them dry, and then we will dip dye them all. So I'm gonna do that. I'll show you one of them, and then we'll probably just speed this on through. One thing I'll note, if you can get yourself like one of those little things, like spray trigger things, I don't like the nozzle on this. That's the only complaint I have. It's like an old school like hairspray nozzle, and it starts to, it smells really good, but it starts to cramp up my fingers. So I'm not like super close, and I'm just kind of twirling my flower around. I know you can't see in the, maybe we'll, hold on. Let's change the camera angle so you can see what I'm seeing. And you want to shake the can a couple times in between as well. And I'm kind of just from spray paint days, kind of moving it around and twirling and stuff, and then setting it to dry. I don't know how the tulips are gonna do. I wanna try to make sure I get in those petals too, because those tend to kind of straighten up and blanch. We'll see. as you can see, once we sprayed them, the petals aren't changing shape. Normally, if you've ever dip dyed some of these flowers, almost instantly, as soon as water hits it, they start to uncurl. These are not uncurling. So that's a good sign, right? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait about 30 minutes, let them fully dry, and then we will dip dye them, and that, my friends, is the true test. Moment of truth has arrived. We are going to, these are all now dry to the touch. I've already mixed up my paint. I used a mixture of Anita's eggplant and Decollard Americana's magenta, just a little bit of magenta, a lot of the eggplant. I did add glycerin as well to this mixture. I like to do a ratio of 1 part glycerin to 8 parts water. So paint, water, and a little bit of glycerin. Here we go. I don't know if it's gonna work. I really hope it works. I think we all really hope it works. So let's give this a go. There goes nothing. We'll keep it on the skewer unless it falls off. Then I'll take it off. So this is a Rosa. I've got one more in this style flower, so I will show you the before and then the after. There's a few thicker paint spots. Something about using your fingers. I'm just gonna shake it off and smooth out some stuff. So far, so good. We'll see how it holds up. One down, a couple more to go. Here's the other Rosa. So I'm gonna dry these upright instead of how I like to normally dry them, which is upside down to help keep the curls from uncurling, so that we can see if it really does hold its shape and it's not just due to it going upside down. So this one has there's a little bit of uncurling happening, but nothing major off the bat. So we'll see. I'm gonna dab off some of this now. The excess isn't coming off like it normally does as well as I'd like it to. Like this one, I've got some splotching happening, so I'm gonna clean that up a little bit with my hands, kind of smooth it out. All right. So the one Rosa is starting to kind of uncurl. I can see it a little bit, so there's a good chance I did not use enough of the Design Master. I'm almost debating if I do one more coat of it right now before we go through the Luxe flowers, because those really tend to uncurl. Also getting a little bit of resistance already happening. Yeah, I'm going to, I'm not happy with these right now. So I'm going to grab the Design Master and I'm gonna spray them down again, let them dry, and then we'll dip dye the rest of them, because these are starting to move and groove in ways that they weren't supposed to, and I haven't experienced before. So let's troubleshoot a little bit and see what we can make happen. All right, we are troubleshooting. So as you can see, the Rosas are okay. There's a little bit of it starting to uncurl, but not too terrible. Happy with that, good to go. This flower, on the other hand, has started to flatten out. Now, it's not too bad. On the edges, I would just trim those to fit and we'd be just fine. But this guy, that guy stood straight up. And we're trying to get it to not do that. So what I've done is I have taken, and I do have another one of those style flowers, so we're gonna try it again. But what I did, and I think the problem is when it comes to these types of flowers, my brain automatically says, don't put stuff too close to it, because as soon as it gets wet, it's going to open up. And so I sprayed a little bit further away. So for the rest of them, I got real up close with them and really doused them. And they did not uncurl or change their shape at all from the spray. So hopefully this go around, fingers crossed, will work. So I'm gonna start with the flower that has been giving me the most trouble so far, and we'll try it again. And if it uncurls again, maybe we'll push through and try a couple others, or we'll give her a third coat. or we'll just know that certain flowers are just gonna have to be airbrushed, no matter what. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed. Here we go. Moment of truth. So far, nothing's changing. Nothing's uncurling. I'm gonna dab it off a little bit up at the top. Okay, here's hoping. Here's hoping. Okay, we'll let that sit. I'll put it over here. You can watch from the corner if it starts to look like it's starting to stand up. All right, the other one that like instantly changed shape was this one. So let's see. Much better. Oh, much better. Okay. Oh, I feel so much better. Oh, thank goodness. So get up nice and close to those flowers and get that spray all over. And if you thought you're not sure if you did not, do some more. Just do some more. It starts to stink after a while though, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, so much better. So much better. Did you see that? So much better. All right. That gives me a lot of hope for the rest of these. Fingers crossed. Oh, I might do a happy dance. I'm really excited now. I'm really happy. I was scared, y'all. I was so scared. Can you feel the sense of relief in the room now? Now, when we're using the Luxe flowers in particular, it's a different species of Sola wood, and it does accept dye a little bit differently. So there is some, I don't want to say it's resisting, but it's definitely, there's some low and high spots on that, and I'll bring it up closer in the camera so you can see that. But there's definitely some dimensional colors going on. It's not just a very flat, opaque, solid color. But the petals aren't uncurling, so I'm really excited about that. I'm going to assume, just from things that I've done in the past, the darker, the richer the color, the more that's gonna be noticeable. Also, I like, if I could have dunked them in the Design Master spray, I would've. I didn't, but I sprayed the heck out of them, and that might affect some of this as well. But still, really, really happy. And again, I'm drying them upright instead of upside down like I normally would to keep the petals intact. Oh, we got this big boy. We'll do this one first. This one also, I've always had a lot of problems with it. All of the cute little crinkled edges all start to kind of stand up straight. For this one, I'm just gonna get my fingers in the center and not try to saturate it too much with the paint and get any of the little bits of cream care of. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh my gosh, I love this 5,000 times more. Yay. Okay, last one. This is the extra large tea rose. I'll let these sit for 24 hours and then after we'll go over, ooh, I don't even know if I can get this in here. Son of a gun. Do I have a bigger bowl somewhere? Hold on, I'm looking, I don't see anything. Well, we're gonna try to make it work. This has like the most ever slight curling throughout the petals, but if they straighten, it really loses the ruffled petal feel that it has. So this is wonderful, and I'm just taking the paintbrush and spreading the paint at the bottom base of those petals that I can't get into my dye. Because the bases don't matter as much as far, you don't have to worry about those uncurling because they're all set where they are. It's the petals, the tops of the petals that start to affect the shape more so. Give me 24 hours and then we'll go over our findings. All right, 24 hours has passed. I cut my hair and dyed it more pink. Normal things to happen within 24 hours, but that's what happened. So, new hair, and let's see how the dyed flowers did. I learned a little bit. This was fun. I expected it to work perfectly the first go around and it didn't, and that's okay. That actually, we learned from it. So let's go over real quick. We had started dyeing some of the flowers and I had done a quick coat of the Design Master and then we dip dyed them and this happened. So not the results that we wanted to see. This one didn't uncurl nearly as much, but it did a little bit. Then what we did was we went back in and the flowers that were left, we resprayed them, so we did a second coat of the Design Master, and the second time around I got much closer to the flowers. I think after doing so many different types of techniques, I like to start at a distance and work my way closer to the flower in case it starts to uncurl. The Design Master spray, get all up in there. Just spray, go to town, have a good time. Don't get your hair stuck in your mouth, and get a good coat on that. If you're a little nervous that you didn't get enough, do a full coat, let it dry, and then do a second coat. And then test your first flower. And if you instantly notice that it's starting to uncurl, spray down the rest of them again. So by the second time with the coat, there we go. No uncurling, nothing like that. See, there's the difference. So the rest of the flowers held up really well. Again, here was one I didn't have enough of a good coat on. Did it again with the same style flower. Much, much better. Nothing was uncurling or lifting or anything else. So the rest of them did perfectly well. Once we knew that there was some lifting happening, the other thing I did notice is there was some color like resistance almost. And after I had stopped filming, what I did was I went with a paintbrush and the paint itself, the solution we had created with the glycerin and the water mix, and I just went over the edges of those petals, and that helped a tremendous amount. So I think this was one of them that there was a decent amount of resistance. So I went back over wherever there was light spots and put some more paint on it, and that seemed to help quite a bit. This is a Blanche, which if you've ever worked with Blanches before, can be fairly fickle. There's a smaller Blanche. So there is going to be, when you do this technique, you are going to most likely have what some people would consider to be streaking. What it is it's showing the wood grain through. So it's totally normal, but if that is something that you don't like, this technique's not gonna work for you because you're not gonna be happy with the streaking that's happening. I like it. I actually feel like it gives a lot more dimension to the flowers, so I don't mind it, but to each their own. So that's the only small note I'll point out about that is when you use that as like a top layer to like protect the flower, there is going to be some of that color variation. But otherwise, super happy. I'm glad there were accidents and like us having to troubleshoot in the middle of filming because I learned something. Because the first time, it might have been what's that saying? Beginner's luck. It always comes. It just takes a minute. It might have been beginner's luck that first round that I did it and it worked perfectly. And the second time as we did it, I had some issues, but now I know why there were issues because I didn't put enough of that spray on there. So you can go pretty heavy-handed on that and it'll work really well. All right, after watching this video, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. I can't, as we just saw, I'm no expert, but I'll try to answer those questions as best as possible. Pop them down in the comments. We'll also leave a link to this Design Masters. It's we have an affiliate link with Amazon if you want to check that out. You don't have to, but it's there if you want to. It'll be in the description. And let us know if you have any other theories that you want to try out. We did try this out with hairspray at one point too, and it worked pretty well, but the Design Master seemed to work better than the hairspray we found. But maybe again, that was beginner's luck too. I don't know. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. Grab a couple that you have some issues with sometimes uncurling and see if you can figure out another great alternative to work with as well. All right, guys. That's what I have for today. If you're loving these videos, can't get enough, want to know when the next one goes live, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to find out about the 150 style Sola flowers along with craft supplies and greenery. Go to ohyourelovely.com, and if you want and you're interested and you want to try these out, if you haven't placed an order yet, you can use the code YouTube30 to get 30% off your first order. This is Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, and you, my friends, are absolutely lovely. Bye, guys.